Hi. 15% battery. I feel like the battery dying phone feature is just like constantly keeping you feeling like I'm running out. I mean, I know it runs out, but it's just constantly telling me I'm running low. So I've been meaning to do a forest chat with Jam, and I haven't gone out here to do it. There's one that I have brewing that is sort of like a deep admission of some things that I've come to understand about human history that feel very relevant and life-changing and perhaps very commonplace to certain people. But I don't think that's going to be today. In fact, I never intended my forest chat to be walking, but just want to get out here and just say something to you, connect with you in a moment where I feel willing and able, as it's about to get incredibly dark, which is a funny time, and I don't actually know exactly what I'm going to say, which is also a funny time, but it feels like a time for me, being a person that is valued for, I'm going over a fence. This might be like a completely gonna throw up in my seat video, so apologies if somebody can't even watch this. I know it's also not the best quality because I'm in selfie mode, but that way I know I'm actually videoing myself. So yeah, what would a Jam Tana want whoever is watching this to know about her right now? I recently, 3 months or so ago, moved to East Tennessee to join up with a building crew as I've become closer to a passion of mine in the recent years, which is working with wood and building temples. Temple spaces based on my work in the van, which was the first space that I decorated entirely. Well, Egg and I. But it was a very, very epic experience getting to build a place that I then lived in. And I had some epiphanies about the power of building something from the ground up. Obviously, we didn't build the van, but rarely do you get to or choose to decorate your ceiling, even floor to ceiling. Artistry. This is a tree that I wanted to see. One of them. It looks different right now, which means I look different right now. So, anyway, yeah, I don't know, I went through a period of, excuse my constant nose wiping, feeling like I was dissatisfied, or I became aware of my dissatisfaction, and there was a period of asking myself what is truly meaningful to me, especially with the world around me changing so fast and there being so much talk about what's worthy of doing, what's worthy of eating, what's right. And I was just sort of going with the flow for my whole entire life until that didn't feel adequate anymore. I wanted to hone in on something or some things, and I wasn't sure actually what would sustain my interest, and I reserve the right to change my mind at any point, but of all the things that I had done, a lot of them were things that I fell into or things that people wanted me to do, and there's a lot to it that I could go into, but the question was what is truly important to me personally, and what on multiple levels, what is going to be something of all the million things I love, because I used to be like, well, I don't know, I love everything. Of all the million things I love, like what satisfies that purposefulness, not my purpose, my one purpose, but what is going to satisfy that purposefulness. And so a story for a later time about the path that led me, or the weaving path that led me to come up with some answers to that question, but one of them was that what I said earlier, working with wood, because I am a deep lover of trees, connector, chatter with trees, and I also love the idea of building temples and using my hands to make things, and my body and my consciousness to bring things into form that are both of this world and beyond. So I got the opportunity to move abruptly out of Austin to East Tennessee, sort of on a whim, with some people that I had just met who are opening a building school, trade school, focusing on hempcrete specifically and other natural and otherwise building tactics. And so I came out here, and it was a rush. I promised myself I wouldn't go too fast, but I lost some things along the way that were really important to me at the time. Like, I had been crafting a beautiful little nest that I knew would be temporary, but I had everything where I wanted it. I had made it beautiful, and it was a work in progress. I had cats, I had plants, I had things in order. I had a long to-do list of how I wanted to edit it and make it more and more magical. And I up and left with a little more than will fit in my car, and I'm now living in a tent, a glorified tent, a glamping cabin that my friends here, my fellow builders, and I built the frame for. And it's been I came to fulfill a couple of the things that were missing from my list of values in my life living in Austin, one of which being the network. And there's so much to say about being here. It's been rough and confronting, and there's so much, going on for everybody here, everybody in the world. I know that maybe sounds sort of trite, but it feels true right now. And it's hard to make sense of what the heck is up, and whose is whose. And having moved and being now in somewhere so totally new with a whole different lifestyle, living out in the country with animals and not living in the city, and living in a tent and sharing space with other people and working full-time when I hadn't been working full-time for many years. Like, so much has changed, so it's really tricky to feel into what is what, and what has to do with the world changing, and what has to do with me changing, and what has to do with my relationships with these other people here. And it is humbling, truly, to choose to let go of something that I had been building for the last 3 years, my little nest in Austin, and seek something that felt like it was calling me. And what do I want you to know about me? The deeper cut. I am a person who, I think I'm gonna get up and start walking while we talk some more and have more leaf noises, but it's getting dark, so goodbye, lovely little pine forest. I am a person, I don't know, this came up as I was talking to my dad yesterday, so I guess we're gonna talk about it now. I am a person that has felt what some people might call depression for many years of my life. And I come from a lineage of outcasts, a family story of black sheepedness, and from a deep personal history, this life and others, of feeling misunderstood, feeling not truly understood for what is deeply important and viscerally, dynamically yummy and spot on for me. I've felt missed in a lot of ways, even by people quite close to me, and lonely, and a lot of things that we all feel, I think. Maybe some of us more than others, and some of us more aware than others, but now I'm in the horse field. Actually, I think I see one. Yeah, it's been rough, and especially with the internet, obviously, or social media blowing up, which has been going on my whole life basically, but it's allowed me this really interesting vantage point of being able to see other people that look like I think I would like them, or they think they're unusual like me, or people telling you to get out there, or that you've succeeded when you've made these types of friendships and this type of success. And I've consistently weaved in and out of really spectacular, mind-blowing, life-changing whimsical, celebratory, artistic, glorious beauty and satisfaction, deep, magical love. And it's rarely lasted very long or been the kind that sticks around. Or maybe I move a lot too fast, or, you know, it could be a lot. We can go into that, but I don't know. There's a narrative for sure of if I was only better, more successful, if I had done something different, if I had taken more courses, if I had saved more money, and all of these things, you know, have truth to them. But if I had done something differently, I would feel differently. I mean, that kind of goes without saying in a way, but how do you allow yourself to exist in this moment with what choices you've made and where you've gone and the lack of what you see from other people that you would want that one day you will have or one day you won't? How do you exist in that and not just eat yourself alive with some subtle level of guilt? Or it's subtle, you know, that's the worst kind in a way, is the kind where you don't even want to admit to yourself that you have guilt for not having done it right and not ending up with what you wanted, and then still having such amazing, magical, miraculous things happen. Speechless. It's like I'm laughing now. Sometimes I'm in deep despair, often about what I could have done and how this moment is not it. There's another part of me that's just like, I can't invest in that. I can't believe that I did it wrong. As much as I want it to be a different way, and yeah, I wish all the millions of things. Some things that are calling me from the future, some things that I will watch myself grieve this life. But I have to watch it unfold. I have to be the one that's here with me, the only one ultimately, besides all you guys right now that is here, like sitting in the culmination of everything it has been. And I don't know how to say it without it just sounding incredibly trite. It's like it has to be enough on some level. And I have been toying with this idea of being a person who says things on the internet. The internet. What's gonna happen if I turn this on? Oh God. That I know, I've seen it enough times to know that if I were, is that helping or hurting? If I were a little bit more, wow, that's getting crazy. Oh, that kind of helps. If I were more certain seeming, if I presented my words in a way that was more like, you know, a brochure about how life works, I think people would probably feel more comfortable and more like, yeah, okay, I'll buy what you're selling, baby. But wow, it's getting really dark, especially with my light on, but if I don't have it on, you can hardly see me. But maybe I'm shooting myself in the foot with that one. I like to sometimes act like I know things, but I think the true freaking fact of the matter is I am like bucking this whole, even though maybe it will only make sense for people in many, many years from now, and for this life, I'm just causing great discomfort and self-degradation by being in the realness of my not my knowingness while not knowingness. Meaning I am averse at this moment in time to being like, but I know that it's all gonna work out for me, even if that may be true. I just don't want to talk like that, basically. That, like, it's all coming to me, and everywhere I've gone has been exactly where I needed to go to end up where I am as who I am right now. I'm definitely seeing, like, forest spirits. And I'm okay with that, because fuck, dude, like, no, God, if I have to be a one who's just gonna be all waffly and uncertain, quote unquote, that's not going to just talk like how the thing likes you to talk to get people on board. And this is just who I am. And I imagine there's tons of freaking people right now who think on some level, even if they don't know it, that since they feel kind of about talking like that about themselves or online, that means that they're not cool or worth talking to or worth being seen. And I get it. It's a rare, in some ways, and interesting blessing and certain type of vibe to be someone that even wants to come on and talk at their screen while they're walking in the forest. I love those videos that are like influencers in the wild. I know we've all seen them. It's just like, would you be doing that if you weren't filming yourself? That's the question. Would you be doing that really? Strangely, like, it's so beautiful. Like, you see people, they're like doing the most awesome dances and moves, and they're looking so beautiful, but are you doing that without the camera? That's kind of a philosophical quandary. I don't even have like a point about that. Anyway, how do I talk without saying something so trite? Everything I say just wants to be some sort of like encouragement, but I think the bottom line is I imagine there must be people out there who are sort of like me or their own version of like me that want to be heard and have art in them and something to say, and whether or not it comes out on the internet or social media, the internet, it just yearns for it to not have to be some thing that it's not for them. That's all. And it's like where the rubber hits the road, you know? I don't even know what is like where the rubber hits the road, but there has to be a revival of some depth and realism. I'm freaking here for it. Even if I feel so alone every day in my little tent, I'm like, oh, I'm the only one and nobody cares. And even the people who do care, like, I don't like them. Like, it's true. It's also not true. And one day, you know, those wacky you guys who are my guys will be right here. But for now, if any, I'm not gonna say it. I'm just not gonna say it. You're just gonna read between the lines of what I'm saying, and you're gonna get out there, and we're gonna know that we exist together through the ethers, and we're gonna continue. May that be the prayer of this video, that we find more and more freaking quirky ass ways of making magic from afar until we are united in a way that actually deeply satisfies us beyond the contrived bullshit. And I feel that in this moment. I know it's possible because I know who I am, and I've seen what can happen, and I'm open to more of the glory of true whimsy. That's all. I know you get what I'm saying. So thanks for listening. It turned out to be 27 plus minutes of James Forrest talks while walking and making you want to throw up, and something will be more collected in a little while. But I deeply love you, and I'm deeply happy to, deeply satisfied to share an existence with you. And when I'm, 5, 10, 20 days from now in my bed just being like, why did I do this? Who even likes me anyway? I'll just think of this moment that I had a number of times with this one person encircling over the years, where I've said, yeah, like, this is the most amazing feeling ever, but what's gonna happen later when I'm alone and you guys are not here? And what this person said in so many words is, you'll remember how I am here now, and you'll imagine us holding hands, and you'll feel the truth of the fact that we are together, and nothing can ever change that. And I trust you, I believe in you, and I know how I feel about you, and I know how you feel about me. So, catch you on the flip side.